Look at how these rares die. Oh, that feels good. It's so satisfying. And you know what the best part about it is? We don't even have a good weapon yet. But more about that under the gearing section. Welcome back, everybody. The name is Wolf, and this is the continuation of my Invoker Monk. Update 6, day 6, technically, I guess. But yes, we have made many changes, many updates, so I figured it was time for a video, including our progression into the game itself. The end game, I am currently farming double-digit maps without dying or without even having to slow down much. The rares are still going down fast. The bosses are going absolutely down without doing their mechanics because we just freeze them or stun them permanently as they fall, which has been very, very satisfying. And also perhaps a hell of a crutch, because the moment I have to actually do mechanics, I don't know what to do because I've never done them because they keep dying before I have to. So that's going to be interesting once we get into the high-end game and start to really juice the maps to 11. But yes, the Invoker Monk so far has been an incredible build. Very rough start at the beginning of the campaign, of course, but now it's coming together and it's really taking off. The clear is phenomenal due to Herald of Ice and Thunder, and we can even enhance that further because look at our spirit at the bottom right there. Look at our spirit. It's so heavy, and it can even be made greater. The better the chest, the better the spirit. Welcome to being an Invoker Monk. On top of that, we don't have our 4th Ascension yet, but there's 2 options we can go. We can either go tanky, or we can go more damage, but more about that in just a second as well. And just for the record, people have been asking me if the nerf to cast on mechanics have affected the build. They haven't. I have not used cast on mechanics in the build as of yet. No cast on shock, no cast on crit. Never spec'd into it either. I have to admit it was originally my idea to do something like that, but then it just got completely obliterated and I walked away from it. And I'm happy I did. This plays way more smooth than I originally anticipated. So no cast on crit effect on this build. No nerf downsides as of yet. Who knows? The bell is very strong. They might touch that. I don't know. Touch my bell, I suppose. But having that said, I think it's time to get into the actual thick of it, because, like I said previously, a lot of things have changed, and there is a lot to talk about. And here is my monk in the flesh. As you can see, we are level 80 Invoker. We have all of our elemental resistances capped. We have a good chunk of chaos res, which is nice. Our life is a little too low. I want to be closer to like 2.5, 3k, as well as energy shield closer to 1.5. Because you don't need that much energy shield as long as you have enough to take the value of Ghost Shroud to its full potential, right? You don't really need anything more than that. But yes, the gear that we have right now is as follows. We still have the pure physical quarterstaff that I corrupted, which is giving me a little bit more damage on the lightning side. Very lucky that happened. I've also corrupted my my helm here for the double socket, which ended up going very, very nice. As you can see, though, it's basically just cranking up energy shield and evasion if possible, but mostly life and resistances. As you can see, life, resistances, very simple. The freedom of movement is a passive on the tree that we anointed. It just gives us a bit more evasion. I don't know what the best one is. This just happened to be a good one for good amounts of evasion, because we have 88% evasion. If we roll, it's 89. We get 1% more. But yeah, I want to maximize my evasion due to my ascendancy that I might pick up, but more about that in just a bit. We have a nice just elemental res ring with some cold damage. I wish I had life here. Same thing here. I wish I had life. I did pick up a little bit of strength on the amethyst. I'm starting to realize it's necessary because of the red gem requirements, because we have gone a little bit overboard. But so perhaps I have to pull that back in, but otherwise it's just life and resistances when you can get them. The chest is new. I did corrupt it for some chaos res. I was hoping for a 3rd socket, but chaos res is also really, really good. As you can see, 1900 evasion. It is 6 mods. It's just that they are fusing together. This is what is giving us so much spirit as well. Since spirit on gear doesn't work anymore, we are leveraging our chest to get spirit due to the ascendancy we have as an Invoker Monk, which is very, very nice. On top of that, we have the gloves right here. Life, resistance, attack speed, some cold and fire damage. Very nice. I can't complain. If the numbers were higher, it would have been close to perfect, if we're being honest here. Minus maybe some crit mechanics or crit stats on it would have been even better, but hey, this is phenomenal as is. We have a belt, which is just basically resistance and life. I'm trying to get a +1 charm going, but it's very difficult to find that for affordable prices when you also need life and resistances. So we'll see how long that will take. And we have a new pair of boots. I still have to quality them before I corrupt them. But yes, as you can see, 25 movement speed, which is such a game changer. I can't imagine walking without movement speed anymore. A nice chunk of life, some good res, and of course some lightning res to make sure we are indeed capped on the lightning res. So nothing to worry about there. I'm still going to have to work on my flasks as well. And I'm just using a anti-freeze. Anti-stun is also, it depends on the situation, but I would rather have multiple charms. But so far, one is all we've got. And that is it for the gear. In terms of the actual gem setup, I am constantly switching things up. But yes, Tempest Flurry, currently on a 5-link total with Martial Tempo, Super Critical, Primal Armament, and Inspiration to bring the cost reduction down to practically nothing with our regen. We have Stormwave, this is the ranged attack. We have Long Shot, Magnified Effect, so it can go a little further, so Long Shot can be used better, as well as Ice Bite, because we use it to try to get some freeze going, so we can get power charges, and we can then start using our charged staff, which has been very good. Perpetual Charge just keeps it up. Conduction to help some shock action, although I do want to change this, although I'm not sure to what. I don't think I need 100% chance to shock if I have access to more lightning damage, which of course is required or will come to us once we have the required elemental staff or quarter staff, but alas, so far not yet. And then we have Innervate because we do get plenty of kills with it, and then more kills means more damage. Tempest Bell, this is the bread and butter for single target. We have Rage on it. We are also generating Rage on the tree now with some jewel sockets, but more about that on the passive tree. Overabundance, this allows us to essentially start charging the bell as it is down, because otherwise you're locked into it. It makes it so that on longer fights you can just cycle bells, and you can even have 2 bells active at any given time, which is incredible burst damage. But other than that, it's just... it's very comfy. If you don't like this, you can go with the Expanse, the one that gives you massive AoE, but about +6-second cooldown. That also is really, really good. But it does mean you have to work around a slower bell. And then on Close Combat, because the bell will be on the enemy. I could switch Close Combat to maybe a Tempest Flurry. That might also be really, really good. Because, well, yeah, we're going to be meleeing either way. The problem is, however, there are not many good supports if you want to go elemental, because if you do, for example, Heavy Strike, I believe the conversion makes it so that the physical damage increase does not actually affect you all that efficiently. So close combat is much, much better. And I know it's going to work because the bell will be on top of the enemy, right? So it's just good. But yeah, it's one of those things where you would need math, and honestly, I'm waiting for POB. But yes, Wind Dancer, as you can see, we have a lot of auras right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 auras, and they're all decked out, and we still have Spirit left. It's insane. So yes, on Wind Wave on Wind Dancer, together with Maim as well as Blind, this is giving us a bunch of evasion and a bunch of utility to not die in melee. Ghost Dance, a mandatory aura, together with Fast Forward, so it goes off faster. Cannibalism for sustain. Clarity for some mana regen. Herald of Ice with Cold Mastery. Culling Strike and Life Drain is what I'm currently trying to experiment with. If I get a 4th socket in there, I will also move Shock Siphon to there, but who knows if that's going to be the case. Lightning Mastery on Herald of Thunder together with Coursing Current to try to spread out some of that shock, because Herald of Thunder does do lightning damage after all. And then Shock Siphon for the occasional Energy Shield recharge, although most of our Energy Shield will come from Ghost Dance. And on top of that, we have Combat Frenzy. This is going to allow us to turn Frenzy charges we gain into power charges with the Keystone on the tree. We have Profusion for more charges. We have Vitality because regen, and then also Precision for precision. And we only have these things because we have such excessive amount of spirit. If I had more sockets, I would be testing out other things. So maybe I will ultimately end up in like a 1 or 2 ring setup with unsocketed rings, so I can maybe add some more auras, maybe like Blink, or maybe the Grim aura for more energy shield recharge. So I can get overshield, which would be really, really nice. So lots to think about, but yes, step 1, make it work. Step 2, make it work better. Speaking of, here's my passive tree so far. Couple of changes, as you can see. But yes, ascendancy-wise, we still have Sunder my enemies. I am the Blizzard to help freeze, which of course has to do with the power charge generation. And then we have Lead Me Through Grace. This is what allows my massive evasion chest, which we can push further, to have so much spirit. Now, in terms of the final ascendancy that I'm thinking about, I'm either going to go with I Am the Thunder if I want more damage, or I'm going to go with and protect me from harm to get more PDR. It really depends on how much evasion I can push, because minus 40% is a whole lot. And, well, you know, you want to make sure you keep high evasion. So depending on how my tree ends up going and how much my evasion on the gear will be, we can probably push that and have good armor, good evasion, while having lots of damage. It's going to be good. We have, let's see, we still have Essence of the Mountain. I will unspec this once I have a really good elemental weapon with Cold. We still have Mindful Awareness, Flow State, Crashing Wave, Essence of the Storm. We are crit focused partially. Moment of Truth is really nice for that. We did move up here to pick up Echoing Frost and Echoing Thunder. We don't really have a reliable Ignite right now, so I've spec'd out of Echoing Flames. However, if my elemental quarterstaff will have a big chunk of fire, I will spec into this again, which is going to be very, very good. We spec'd out of conservative casting as well as tenfold attacks, because we went up here and picked up Deep Trance, which is both cost reduction and attack speed, which is very, very nice, as opposed to this conditional attack speed buff that requires you to get hit, and we are playing an evasion freeze build. So that is actually kind of contradictory. We're working towards Inner Faith, as you can see. Lots of evasion, lots of energy shield. We're, like I said, crit based as well. So True Strike, Juggler, Deadly Force, very nice. Spectral Ward allows us to get energy shield from our chest as well, based on its evasion. Very, very nice. A little bit of Shadow Dancing action as well, which is pretty good. I might actually maybe unspec this, because it is conditional. So who knows? We might unspec this, save some points, and then maybe pick up the points we have not yet been able to spend, or go deeper down here. There's a lot of value points. I don't know. Like, these are the things we have to work out. We have the overflowing power charges for +2 extra. I did spec out of the Power Within and Lust for Power. I found it to be too much of an investment for how little gain we got from it. So I spec'd out of those. I don't know if I want to stay spec'd into Overflowing Power. I do think it is quite lovely, but it is something to look at. What is certainly going to be staying as long as we stay crit is Throat Seeker. We have, of course, the Quarterstaff cluster, so to speak. Lots of value there. One with the Storm is really good. We have coming Calamity. I did actually think about maybe running Herald of Ash as well with all that extra spirit I have. If I have a unsocketed ring, because that's another bunch of fire damage I can leverage then here. And even better clear because of the overkill damage. Speaking of overkill, we have a bunch of crit chance right here, including base crit on Struck Through. And then we have Bestial Skin for 100% increased evasion rating from equipped body armor. So you can see how that is incredible. 1900, 100% extra. Hell yeah. And then, of course, we have that anoint right here, Freedom of Movement, 30/30. So yeah, that's currently my my passive tree. We still have plenty of points to go. I am thinking about, indeed, getting Echoing Flames if we have that fire damage. I might spec back into tenfold and conservative casting. Maybe I can then drop my inspiration gem. That would be nice. There's a lot of good stuff here on the tree. We also have Falcon Technique. We could maybe look into some more decks. We have the nodes down here that are pretty good. Where are they? Well, we have Freedom of Movement, but also Escape Velocity is pretty solid. Maybe we spec deeper into the power charges again, or maybe we start picking up some Some other offensive notes. There are some crit notes up here too. Careful Assassin. I did think briefly about Chaos Inoculation, but I would need a consistent, reliable source of energy on top of the Ghost Shroud to make that really worth it. Now, minion builds have that sacrificing of their own minion loop, but we won't have much of that. There's no like energy shield leech that I can see or energy shield on hit kind of effect. It's not quite a trickster yet, but who knows, maybe that will be the end game. However, this is currently my tree. Keep an eye out. I will be updating it. So thank you all so much for sticking along on this journey with my Invoker Monk. It's been doing really well. So hopefully you guys will see some real end game soon. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button if you haven't already. And having that said, have a good night, take care, and I am out.